Are you an aspiring indie game developer and want to be seen on oversaturated digital download services? Do you want to rise to the top of the Steam and Google Play charts? Do you want to make tons of money doing what you love instead of having to work a boring Walmart job, being just another cog in the dull capitalist machine? Well, today I have a way you too can rise to the top of the Steam charts without much effort, and I'll show you how. It's called making a meme game. Now, first of all, you might be asking, what is a meme game? Well, a meme game is a video game that comes out of nowhere, sells a bunch, gains Let's Play and popularity before usually fading into obscurity and rarely getting mentioned afterwards. Many of these video games lack much depth and aren't that long, but they are able to hold the attention of a Let's Player or kid on the internet for quite a while. What really sets meme games apart is their unique style of marketing, taking advantage of viral media and internet memes in the current year. Right now, for example, as of the time the video is uploaded, Undertale is extremely popular thanks to the fact that memes of it are everywhere, and the fact that people are changing their profile pictures to icons either from or inspired by Undertale. It's like one of those Facebook marketing campaigns where you can change your profile picture to something from or inspired by a big Hollywood movie when it comes out, except it's 100% organic thanks to your viral marketing skills, and you don't even need to pay a viral marketing agency. And did I mention that these kind of games sell tons of copies? Undertale is currently selling through the roof right now on Steam, and last year it was Five Nights at Freddy's and Goat Simulator, along with countless other games just like this. Goat Simulator became so popular it got a console port. Five Nights at Freddy's not only got a mobile port, but it got a movie deal, 4 games made in under a year, and of course a book based on the games, and immense popularity on YouTube with gamers making theories about the games, like conspiracy theorists make theories about the big evil government and the powers that be. And while Toby Fox is mostly moving on from Undertale, it's still selling quite a few copies right now, and it's still hip and trendy for Tumblr artists to draw fan art of it. There are also plenty of videos both playing through the game and making crackpot theories related to the game. Despite saying he won't make a sequel, he's clearly making good money off the game itself and official merchandise, and he doesn't need to spend a dime on marketing since the community is already doing it for free. So I know what you're thinking. You're looking at these people and you're thinking, well, gee, I could do it too. I could become a marketing genius just like these people. Well, you actually can become a marketing genius just like these people, and it's not that hard. And today, I'm going to show you their trick and how you can become a rich indie developer in no time. So what do you need to do to become a marketing genius like these people are? Well, it's not that hard actually, and all you need are a few supplies you can get anywhere. The first thing you'll need is a laptop or other kind of computer, such as a desktop or a workstation. While other kinds of powerful computers work just as well and in many cases even cost less, they lack something hip and trendy that laptops have, especially when laptops have light-up logos. Why do you see so many indie developers carrying around laptops with hip and trendy light-up logos? It's because they're hip and trendy and make you look cool. You'll also need a video editor such as Premiere or Vegas, a recording program such as NVIDIA Shadowplay or Action or Fraps, a game making tool such as the Unreal Engine, Unity, GameMaker, CryEngine, or Multimedia Fusion, and depending on the kind of game you're making, either a 3D modeling tool such as Blender or a 2D pixel art editor such as Sprite. If you really want to go all the way and code from scratch, you can use a programming language or similar language such as Monogame, though that requires the most effort which you won't be putting into coding when you're making this game. One optional requirement as an indie developer is to purchase a graphic tablet. Now, a graphic tablet allows you to draw art using your computer. And not only that, but 9 out of 10 deviant artists swear by them. If they use them, then you can too. Okay, so let's start with step 1. Now that you have the materials ready, you need to decide what gameplay mechanic you could put into your game to hook the gamers and help the game go viral. If you want your game to go viral, you need to have something that will get many gamers online to start talking about your game. One easy way to do that is to take a pre-existing game and add a twist or a message to it. For example, Undertale takes the popular Mother series of video games from Nintendo, adds in the dodging gameplay of all those Flash games called hardest game ever, generic 8-bit graphics that could barely pass for an Apple IIe game, and adds some message to it by allowing you to not kill enemies in the game, while adding some edgy, meta, Tumblr, grid art, crawling elements to it as well. Or Goat Simulator, which took the concept of poorly made budget simulator titles with stupid premises and the same font on the packaging as Microsoft's old simulator series, and then ran with the joke as far as they could go until they could go no further, just like a bad late night comedy show sketch or bad animated comedy show at night if you live in America. If you're unsure about if your idea is a good idea, however, go into the mindset of a typical Let's Player and think, would they enjoy this game? Would they record themselves having interesting reactions and get views out of playing this game, giving your game exposure? If they would, then it's a good idea. You can make more money too by pandering to more communities, from image boards to retro gamers to Tumblr to furries. After all, who cares if your game spawns a terrible fanbase, because you're making money after all. Now let's go to step 2, which is the writing. If your game is to have no story whatsoever, just throw in a bunch of visual gags in there and call it a day. If your game is to have a story, however, shove as many epic and random jokes in there as possible that some unfunny kid can quote frequently at school. If someone can make a meme out of it, it's a good idea. After all, memes are the cheapest and easiest form of marketing. Why spend tons of money marketing your game when gamers and YouTube stars can do it for free? When people plaster your game all over image boards or Tumblr, people will eventually get curious and will run out and buy your game on Steam, even if it's on sale where it's only $2 less. What you also need to be sure to add into your game are little bits and pieces of something that might be lore. While big gaming companies might write deep and gripping storylines in their games, writing a good story requires skill and a creative mind. Thankfully, you don't need to do that. Just write in bits and pieces of what makes up a good story, and they don't even need to be original either. Just watch some films or read some books and you'll get a good idea of what you can rip off to put in your game. That way fans will be able to make up bizarro theories about how someone in your game is either dead or a serial killer or has been dead for years or something along the lines of that, and you'll be able to sell more copies as their theory videos gets millions of views. Step number 3 is the soundtrack. While with some kinds of games you don't need much music, any soundtrack that's easy to make mashups of is a plus. Plenty of YouTubers will make mashups of your game's soundtrack in FL Studio or Audacity, even if it's more generic than either elevator music or the Xbox support line hold music. If your game is influenced by a platformer or role-playing game, this is especially crucial that your game has a soundtrack of some form. Just look how popular Undertale's soundtrack is on YouTube. It has over 5 million views for the most popular song in the soundtrack, and that is even more views than Neutral Milk Hotel. Step number 4 is to make the trailer for your game. After creating enough of the game, you need a trailer that stands out. Open up your game recording software of choice and record some gameplay footage of your game. Then fire up Adobe Premiere or Sony Vegas and start editing away at it. Remember, you need a trailer that gets your game noticed. Be sure to use some editor effects so kids can see them and think, "Whoa, this is epic! Mom, give me your credit card, please!" And try to show the world your game. If you have connections or can find someone on Fiverr, get someone to do a voiceover for your game. And of course, be sure to get the premise of your game across to the initial buyers, Kickstarters, and pre-orders of your game. Optionally, you can choose to release a demo as well. If a game lasts longer than a single gimmick or joke, this is a good idea. Not only can you show prospective gamers what a game is like, but you'll even give your game a head start. Many people will not only be convinced that your game is the best thing ever, but Let's Players will likely find your game as well if the demo is popular enough. If the demo comes out before the game does, you can even use it as a form of beta testing, as you'll definitely hear complaints if the game is either unoptimized and doesn't run on their Acer or has some glaring flaws with it. Now for step number 5. You're now almost there, you're well on your way, so it's time to use the support to your advantage. Spend $100 on Steam Greenlight and set up a Kickstarter for your game and watch as the money rolls in. Take out some cheap ads on websites such as 4chan, Project Wonderful, 8chan, DeviantArt, and whatever websites that your audience is on. Remember, they're going to be doing the marketing for free after all, so it's good that you give your game a head start where it needs it. While you're at it, also set up some computers to test your game on. If you're poor, just make a Windows version and test it on your family's PC, and maybe your grandma's as well. If you have money, go on eBay and grab a bunch of used business desktops or laptops and test the game on there. Maybe get a few GPUs too to throw into the desktop so you can see how the game performs on different GPUs. If your game creation tool of choice offers it, just spit out Mac and Linux versions and just have a friend or two test it and then call it a day. Now it's time for step number 6. Release it to the world. Put it on Steam and watch the money roll in. It's up to you to decide what to do afterwards. Either you can milk it to death like what happened with Five Nights at Freddy's, or you can only make one game and just let it keep rolling in cash. Or you can just milk it slowly and keep it going by putting out content for the game over time, though that does require some work. It's all up to you. You can do whatever you want now and be your own boss because you're an indie game developer. Now you might be wondering why I skipped a few steps that I would normally suggest to normal game developers. Well, that's because quite frankly they aren't important when making a meme game. For example, who needs art direction? You could release a game with badly done pre-rendered CGI or with 8-bit graphics that are about as colorful as a Joy Division album cover and it'll still sell through the roof. I mean shit. Who needs consistency when you can be epic and meta? You could go from retro 8-bit to covering the screen with a 16-bit enemy that looks like a mix between a Dollar Tree version of a David Cronenberg film set piece and a bad creepypasta you read on fanfiction. Or controls. You could have a game with clunky controls that are hard to use and just don't work and people won't care, instead thinking that these controls are part of the game and that you made a deep design choice either to make the game harder or to make the game more artsy, similar to modern art exhibitions. Who honestly cares though? You've made your game and now you should be making tons of money. Go build an expensive office, show off your IGF awards on camera, brag about your high Metacritic score, and make a video showing off your new Lamborghini. You've earned it. And that is how to become a meme game developer, and you can do it too.